So it's been a couple of weeks since the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup wrapped up, and we wanted to take a look back at this tournament, the highs and the lows, and kind of just give it an overall grade.
You know, in the NBA, we hear world champions. NFL, you hear teams say world champions.
These are the actual world champions.
Exactly.
Before we start talking about the Club World Cup, if you haven't already, make sure to leave this video a like, give us a subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on one of our videos. So we're a little bit late on this. The FIFA Club World Cup final was a couple of weeks ago by the time this video will go out. Chelsea took down PSG 3-0 in the final because, yeah, PSG ran through everyone in the Champions League, so of course they lose to Chelsea in this final. Just a quick heads up, we're gonna call it soccer. I know this is gonna trigger some people, but look, we're both Americans. We grew up in America. As Americans, we have our own ways of doing things. Not always the right way, but it's our way. I think it was like Winston Churchill who said, like, you can always trust the Americans to make the right decision after they've exhausted all their options. So, you know, give us some time. Maybe we'll get there eventually, but we're not there yet.
It's spot on. We're just stubborn. That's how we are.
So the 21st edition of the FIFA Club World Cup, really the first edition though, because this is the first with the expanded format modeled more closely after the actual World Cup. It got a mixed reception, you know, some highs, some lows, some good, some bad. Plenty to improve on though, so let's take a look at it all.
Let's start off with the good, you know, start out being positive. The actual concept of the tournament, like, it's genius. The fact that clubs from all around the world can compete in one competition. I mean, soccer, it's the most played sport in the world. Around 4,000 professional clubs worldwide. And the fact that there wasn't already a competition to pit the best teams against each other is honestly wild. Sure, we have some preseason friendly competitions where there's teams from different federations and they play against each other, but those are just basically glorified scrimmages. So seeing these clubs from around the world, you know, compete in a high stakes tournament, it just sounds awesome on paper. And we had some big time matchups between European juggernauts. That was fun to see. But what was even more fun to see is some of these smaller clubs knock off some of these big European teams. Botafogo beating the reigning European champions in PSG. Flamengo beating the eventual champions in Chelsea. Al Hilal beating Man City in just that iconic match. And even Auckland City, a team from Australia, which isn't even a full professional team, they drew 1-1 with Boca Juniors. One of the more successful South American clubs ever.
I'm pretty sure by total trophy account, it is the most successful South American club. And yeah, Auckland City, their players literally have other jobs that they have to go to around playing for the club because, like, they don't make enough money. And apparently they made $1 million just from that draw with Boca Juniors. Like, how great is that?
Literally drew with plumbers.
Also, one of the biggest concerns was that European teams would just dominate the tournament. And look, they certainly were the most successful. We had 2 European teams in the final. Chelsea obviously won it, but they didn't completely dominate. Like, Atletico Madrid and Porto both failed to make it out of their group. Like you said, Inter and Man City were knocked out in the round of 16 as big favorites. And Fluminense, a Brazilian team, made the semis in the first year of the tournament. Like, that's a pretty good success rate, I think. And also, like, if this happened in the actual World Cup, no one would have a problem with it. Like, say the semifinals in next year's World Cup are like Germany, England, Netherlands, Italy. Would anyone have a problem with it? Would anyone be like, man, Chile's not in the semis, like, this is a flop tournament? Like, yeah, it's fun when, like, Croatia makes the final, or like when Morocco made the semis in 2022, but for the most part, like, the biggest and best teams win the World Cup every time, and no one has a problem with it.
And of course, yeah, some European fan bases, they're not gonna care about this tournament. They have bigger tournaments. Their domestic league is huge. Obviously, the Champions League in Europe is the biggest tournament, but supporters of these South American clubs, like, they really showed out for this. Hell, you had the Red Diamonds from Japan. They had a great showing in their group games. And of course, just in Japanese tradition, they stayed behind to help clean up the stadium.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Just beautiful to see.
And like Fluminense, Botafogo, Palmeiras, Boca Juniors, River Plate, like, they all had great showings at their games. They actually, like, created a lively environment in stadiums that weren't fully sold out. Like, that's how great they were.
Right.
And like, it makes sense. Like, this is their one chance to play play against like these big boy European teams from across the pond that have way more money, that generally feel like they're the best teams in the world. This is their chance to prove that no, we actually belong to, and hell, a lot of them played really well. So definitely a lot of good, but also plenty of bad. Now the first two bad points are kind of intertwined, so we'll cover both of them at the same time. Match attendance and ticket prices. Now a lot was made of the lackluster attendance for a lot of matches, especially the group games, and some people were wondering if this will be a problem for the World Cup next year. I really don't think it will. I mean, the 94 World Cup in the US was the most attended World Cup ever, and if you think America doesn't care about soccer right now, should have like time traveled back to 1994 and see what they thought about soccer, because people really didn't care about it back then. So look, the World Cup next year will be fine. The problem with this tournament had more to do with ticket prices and kickoff times than anything. Like, simply put, matches were far too expensive and you had far too many kickoff times that were placed strategically to cater to Europeans more than the locals. Like, the main example I've seen is like when Chelsea played LAFC in Atlanta and they drew like 22,000 people, and it's like, yeah, well, you're playing a game between a team from Los Angeles, in London, in Atlanta at 3 p.m. on a Monday, and the cheapest tickets are $70. And you expected that to sell out. Why?
Exactly.
Like, that's not reasonable. Like, you're asking people in Atlanta, okay, take a day off work, drop $70 per ticket, pay for concessions, pay for gas, pay for public transit, pay for parking. Like, that's probably like $120 per person to go on that trip, and you have to take a day off work. Like, it's too much. Hell, my girlfriend and I were thinking about going to some games in Seattle because Inter and Atletico Madrid were playing up there. We just could never find a game that lined up with her work schedule, and she couldn't get time off work. Like, you can't put games in the middle of the day on weekdays and expect them to be well attended.
Yeah, we understand why the kickoff times were when they were. Obviously, the biggest teams in this tournament are European clubs, and they got to cater to that market. But you got to make the damn tickets cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, they were way too expensive. Also, something that probably won't be a problem for future iterations of the tournament. But FIFA just bet way too much on this tournament, putting it in huge stadiums. Like, you had Monterrey and the Red Diamonds facing off in the Rose Bowl, which, if you're not familiar with the Rose Bowl, you know, historic college football stadium, holds close to 90,000. It's one of the biggest stadiums in the entire world.
That, and UCLA can't even sell it out when they play there. And they're 30 miles away.
Like, play the final or the semifinals at the Rose Bowl, those big matches. But if it's just a whatever match like that, you know, hold it where LAFC plays their matches. You don't need that big ass stadium.
Yeah, exactly. And the weird thing is they did this with some markets like LA, New York, Philly, Miami. They bet big. They went with the NFL stadiums. Other ones, they did the opposite, like Cincinnati, DC. They elected not to play where the Bengals and the Commanders play. They played in the MLS stadiums. And then for Orlando, weirdly enough, they did both. Like, they played at Camping World and they played where Orlando City plays. So again, I agree with you. Like, finals, semifinals, quarterfinals, you can play those at the big stadiums, but like group games, maybe bring your expectations back a little bit. Also, again, this is probably a bit of a US specific problem, but it does get kind of hot here in the summers. And if you're not used to the heat, I could get it being a little tough. Then again, Dortmund having to watch a game from the locker room because it was 87 degrees outside, which, like, that's just a nice summer day, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's a great day to go out and just do stuff outside, right? And they apparently, oh, it's too hot, guys. Sweltering heat, gotta watch this game from the locker room.
Yeah, that was soft as hell. I'm sorry. I know those are your boys there.
They
but
are. No, it was soft as hell.
Yeah, again, to give you some perspective, that's 30 degrees Celsius. Like, again, it's warm, but that's not that hot. Like, imagine those boys trying to play in Arizona. or
Exactly.
something. Like, it's so funny. We always heard, can, like, this team do it on a cold, rainy night in Stoke? Could Messi do it there?
That's more of a joke, but like, you throw it back in their face. Well, can you do it on a sunny afternoon at the Rose Bowl?
Apparently they couldn't.
Apparently not. And before we wrap things up, just a few criticisms that we've heard of the tournament that we just don't really think hold much water. Like, the main ones are like player fatigue, injuries, and this being like a cash grab tournament by FIFA that just didn't really mean anything. Like, there were certainly injuries, like David Alaba suffered a muscle injury, Rodri suffered a setback to his ACL, and most notably Jamal Musiala suffered a horrifying leg injury after colliding with Donnarumma. I just can't square those two thoughts together though. Like, one, this tournament is basically just a bunch of glorified friendlies, and two, like, oh, we have to play our first team players and it's too hard on their bodies. Like, fun little lore fact about me, I went and saw a Man City and Borussia Dortmund friendly in Chicago back in 2018, and you could tell it was a friendly. Like, the City lineup, basically the only consistent first team players at the time who played were Riyad Mahrez and Leroy Sané. And for Dortmund, they fielded a few more guys, like Götze played, Pulisic, Schmelzer, Jadon Sancho came off the bench, but like, The heavy hitters for Man City like Aguero, De Bruyne, David Silva, Company, Sterling weren't even on the bench. Same thing for Dortmund. Marco Reus, not even on the bench. Like, that's what a friendly looks like. So if this tournament was a bunch of glorified friendlies, why were all these teams playing their first team squads?
Well, the counterpoint is, well, because the prize money, like they want that money, which is a fair point, but couldn't you say that about literally every other club competition?
Yeah.
Like, why is it so important to qualify for the Champions League? Of course, like you want to play in the Champions League, you want to win that, but a lot of teams also, you know, placing fourth, they know they're not going to win it. They want the prize money to upgrade the squad. Like, why do teams desperately want to avoid relegation? Of course, they want to stay in the Premier League, but they also want the TV money that the Premier League brings.
Exactly. Like when you ask people, why don't you want to get relegated? Very rarely is the first answer, oh man, it's just like, it's so shameful to play in the Championship, right? Like you want to stay in the Premier League. It's like, no, we need the Premier League money. That's what we need. And finally, the idea that some fans don't care about this tournament. Well, first of all, that's not entirely true because again, the South Americans really cared about it. But second of all, like, yeah, this is the very first one. It's brand new, it's different, but people got to remember, every competition was brand new and different at some point. Back when the Champions League was first formed, it was called the European Cup at the time. Chelsea, who were the reigning English champions, they were pressured by the EFL to withdraw from the first European Cup because they viewed it as a distraction to their domestic competition. And even the next year, when the first European Cup proved to be a pretty big success, the EFL was again trying to pressure Man United to not go and play in it. And Man United basically just said, F you, we're gonna go play in it. So like, even back when the Champions League was first formed, there were people who were like, this new thing it's not as important as the competitions we already have.
So in conclusion, this new iteration of the Club World Cup, I'll say it's a success, you know, maybe wasn't as big as they were hoping for. And the one thing I will bitch about though, I know I'm biased, a Liverpool supporter here, they gotta change the qualifications. Like if this is really the Club World Cup, we're really competing for the best club in the world. Liverpool should have been in it. Arsenal, even though they really haven't won much to qualify, they should have been in it. Barcelona for sure should have been in it. Chelsea, they'd go on to win, but Chelsea really hasn't won recently. I know they qualified, because of the 2021 Champions League?
Yeah, they won the Champions League.
Get out of here.
More recently than Liverpool's won it.
Liverpool won the damn league this year. They should have been in it, and Inter Miami's in for whatever the reason they were in.
The supporters' shield, I think, right?
But yeah, they do got to change the qualifications, you know, to make it like the best teams of recent, not going back 4 years ago.
Okay, yeah, make it more clear at least.
Yes.
I also think it's a pretty good success. If I had to give it a grade, I'd give it like a solid B-. Like, definitely things to improve upon though. My one concern though is the things that need to be improved upon are things that FIFA historically has not really been willing to do, i.e., let's charge a little bit less for the tickets, right? Let's maybe make a little bit less money so we can have a better fan experience. That's not exactly something FIFA's very good at. Again, I agree with you. I think just the concept of the tournament is fantastic. It's baffling that it took this long for an organization to put something like this together. It's a little shitty that FIFA's the ones who are running it, but it's a really cool summer tournament that we get once every 4 years. We get matchups that we'd never seen before, so I'm optimistic about its future. That's the video, guys. What did you think of the first Club World Cup? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving it a like, as it really does help us out. And while you're here, why not check out some of our other videos as well? And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.